Let's begin the things. Test case. The primary question, like, what is test case? As if now test case is nothing but a document with expected result. Yep, simple. A document with expected result. So when can we expect something from the system? Literally, when can we expect something from the system? Whenever we perform any user operation. If you click on sign in button, I can expect something from the system. If I delete an email, I can expect something from the system. Means whenever I perform any activity on the application, in that circumstances, there are chances to expect something from reaction from the system. Yes or no? So a test case document is nothing but a document with user action. Means what we are trying to do. Whether you want to click on a button or whether you are writing it, whatever you want to do. So that's we called as a user action. A document with a user action and its subsequent response. How it's going to respond. That is nothing but expected. So test case contains these two things. One is user action and other one is expected result. Simple. Now, so we'll be not writing only one step, right? So to log in, we need to write username, you need to write the password, you need to click on login. So multiple steps, multiple user actions we are doing. A set of user actions or a sequence of user actions we are trying to do. A test case is nothing but a document with sequence of steps or a series of steps. A document with multiple steps with user action and subsequent response is nothing but test case. This is what your general definition of a test case. A test case contains sequence of steps what the user is going to do and how the application is going to behave. Now, the next question is from where you are going to get this user action, means what we are going to do the actions on the application and what we can expect from the application. So this two will be drafted from your requirement documents. It may be your FRS, it may be BRS, right? It may be use case, it may be a user story, whatever it may be. From the requirements we are going to gather it and we are going to make them as a series of steps with the user action and its subsequent response, right? So whenever you can draft your requirements into your proper test cases, then manual testing is done. As simple as that. Clear? Next. So do we have any rules to write these test cases? Not technically much, but whenever you write a test case, it should be simple and easy. Simple and easy. Don't make it complicated. Write in a simple and comprehensively so that in some case, if your colleague or someone will execute it, even you need to understand what you have written there. So that's the reason it should be simple and easy to understand. That is point one. Point two, way to write the test case, and the test case have few naming conventions. So that we'll describe as we go into the subject. It has some naming convention and way to write the test case. This is a very important. Wherever you feel comfort, you can write there. But 99% of the people do write the test cases in Excel because it is very much comfort, easy to access. MS Excel. Okay. Yes. So a lot of cases will be writing your test cases in Excel sheet. Or else if you want to write in a quality center also or any other test management tool, have some access to write the test cases in some test management tool like quality center. Quality center or ALM. In this also we can write it. Okay, so that I'm going to discuss whenever we are talking about QC or ALM, that will be discussed how to write in the test management tool. But as if now, let us stick to the Excel. Okay, so we are going to write that in the Excel. Simple. Now, so what type of test cases we have? So we may have different type of test cases. It may be a functional, it may be a regression test case, a different type of test cases we'll be having generally. But we need to focus on few important variations of test cases. That is nothing but positive test case or negative test case. Normally in one test case only, if there is any possibility, we'll be writing positive and negative type of testing. But let me explain you what is this. Positive test case and negative test case. It's simple. Whenever we write a valid flow, that is nothing but positive test case. Whenever we give any invalid flow, that is nothing but negative test case. Means testing an application with valid data and testing an application with invalid data, as simple as. So these are the rules what we have to write the test case. And moreover, every company uses their own type of template. Yes, own type of template. Like my company uses a template, there is no guarantee that your company uses the same template, in the sense with some predefined components in it, right? Some predefined components in it, we call it as a template. So every company uses their own template, but still it is manageable. It is not so different actually. Once you are aware of writing the test case is one template, using the other template is very much easier. It's not too difficulty. It's simple. Differences will be there. Like in my case, if I write test case description, in your case, you can write simply it is as a test description. A fewer changes will be there, but manageable, and you can simply understand it. It's not too much different because we are going to follow the same set of rules throughout the organization level, right? Yes. Now let's begin with test case template. So let me show you a test case template first. So that I can explain you each and every field in it. So this is a sample test case document what you are seeing on the screen, and it may be a different colors and different fields you have on different templates of test cases. No need to worry. Just stick with this as if now. And here we have a project details, project name, module, document refers, and author. I guess it's very easy people to write it. So I'm not focusing on this elements. So let us start with this. What is test case ID? Test case description, step name, test data, step description, expected, actual. We have something called priority. Some cases you'll be having the preconditions also. We'll be seeing all those things line by line. Okay, so this is the first look of your test case. Okay, and which has some fields in it. So let us discuss with the very first field. What is test case ID? Test case ID or name. First of all, it has some naming convention, and test case ID should be unique throughout your test case. Test case ID or name. Okay, so it should follow some naming convention and it should be unique throughout your test case. And normally it should start with test case 001, a unique number followed by project name, followed by module what you are trying to work, and if you have any submodule, then the submodule will be written, and after that what the functionality you are trying to test it. What the functionality you are trying to test it. So this is the naming convention of it. Because test case ID or name is a label. If you have hundreds of test cases, the test cases will be listed according to the name. Means we can't see all the test cases at one if you use any tool, test management tool or any other tool. Just it will show you the test case ID or description in the list. And accordingly you can select like what test case you want. So test case ID or name should have the proper information in it. So that is the reason it should have a complete project information in the test case ID itself. So that is the reason it starts with the project. E-banking module is home page. In that home page, we are trying to test a functionality called visitor links like this. Okay, so that is a very, very first activity. Next, test case description. Test case description. This is the core intention, goal or scope. So why we are conducting the test case? What is your primary agenda? Simply will not write the test cases, right? We need to have some agenda for test cases. Simply we are not going to write it. We need to have some goal. So what is that goal? What is that scope? So that should be written in the test case description. Your goal, scope, primary intention, core intention. That should be written in the test case description. Next. Step name. So generally it will be step 1, step 2, step 3. And depending on the steps, it keeps on continuing like that. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Test data. So test data, we'll keep this test data aside. And let's start with step description. Step description in the sense, what the actions you are going to do on the application is called step description. What are the actions you are going to perform on the application? That is considered as a step description. You can see it. Enter URL and click on go. That is the operation you are going to perform on the application. So that is obviously your step description. So whenever we perform any step description, obviously system will respond. And we need to expect that response, and that will be given in the expected. So this expected and actual are the main two fields in the test case document. These two fields you need to capture it from the requirements. You need to capture it from the requirements. Once you are able to capture these two and forms in a frame, then I can say your manual testing is almost done. In the manual testing, the major complex issue is changing your requirements into your test case document. Yes. So here we have a test case description, what user is going to do and what we are going to expect. These two things can be drafted from the, as I said, requirement document. Now, some cases to perform this user action. Enter URL. What is that URL? That should be written in the test data, right? Enter username and password. What is that username and password? You need to write that in the test data column. So test data column is nothing but what data we are going to pass to the application to perform step description. Enter username and password. What is that username and password? We need to give it here. Username and password. So username and password provided in this field. Means to perform the step description, some cases we need to take help of test data, the data which is used to test an application. And even we'll be having a priority for the test cases, high priority, low priority for the test cases. Depending on the availability of the time, first high priorities will be executed and then next. But as if now the priorities are getting decreased, we are not giving any priorities because all the test cases what we write are really the prioritized one, because we are optimizing the test. Already we are optimizing it. Again, if picking the only positive from it, only priority from it, it doesn't make any sense. Whatever we derive, that is really a priority. So all the test cases should be definitely executed. So that is the reason I have not used any priority in it. But still, if you want, you can take one more field called priority, which explains like which test case is high priority and which test case is low and medium priority and so on like that. Okay. So up till here, writing the test cases, we have some prerequisites. Means to perform a particular transaction, we need to have some prerequisites. So prerequisites also we have one more field. So that we'll see as we go into the subject. I will explain you how to write the test cases using the prerequisite also. But as if now you don't focus on it, right? So let's see it. Next. Actual. So up until here, writing the test cases, guys. Until here, writing the test cases. Once after writing the test cases, after a few days, obviously, application will be available. Right? On the application, what we need to do? On the application, what we need to do? We need to perform the activity. Right? So what activity we need to provide on the application? We need to perform step description on the application. Whatever the step description says in a sequence, we need to execute this on the end application. Yes. After writing the test cases, when we write the test cases, once your requirement documents is ready, once you get the use cases, or once as we receive the user requirements, you start writing the test cases. There is no need to have an application to write the test cases. After writing the test cases, your application will be released. Once after application is released, whatever given in the step description, you need to perform that on the application. Whatever given the step description, you need to perform that on the application. And once we perform the step description on the application, system will respond. That response you need to write it in the actual. Whatever it says, you need to write in the actual. Simple. Enter URL and click on go. Enter the URL and click on go. What the system responds, write it here. Click on homepage, what system is responding, write it here. And click on personal banking, how system is responding, and write it. So this is what we called as actual. When we'll get actual, after the application is getting ready, whenever we perform the step description on that application, system will respond. That respond is nothing but your actual. Then after compare expected and actual, if both are identical, then the status would be pass or status would be fail. So this is what the overview of your test case, right? Now let's go ahead and let's try to write a simple test case on Gmail. Okay, on Gmail. Let me open Excel.
Actually, we have to give URL or we have to mention words.
Right? Next. Test case. We'll write the test cases now. Let me open Excel sheet. We'll write a simple test case for Gmail login. So I don't want to test it with valid or invalid data. That is what my agenda is. Just simple. I need to log in using username and password, and I need to check that whether it is taking you to the inbox or not. Moving to the inbox is your expectation. It should take you to the inbox whenever we write valid username and password. That is what your expectation. Okay. So if you have an expectation, then it's good to test it. So let's start the testing activity. I'll make it very simple as it's a very first test case. I don't want to make it complicated. I need to write a username. Just click on next. It will give you the password field. Enter the password and click on sign in. It should take you to the inbox. This is what the process, how generally the Gmail login happens, right? The same process we'll be writing in terms of test cases. Just see it. So here I need to enter some email ID and just click on next. It will accept the If it is a valid email ID, it will accept it and it will show the password box on the field. Enter the password box and just click on next. Just copying this field. Okay, so let's start with test case 1. So that should be test case 001. We'll be having only one test case now. It is for Gmail and I'm trying to test some Gmail login assume it. And test case description. What is test case description? According to our information what I have provided, test case description is nothing but core intention, goal or scope. Means why we are performing this test case 001. What is your main agenda? So that should be written in the test case description to verify whether system navigates to inbox after login. This is what your primary agenda. You need to check whether it is navigating to the inbox after you logging in. So step name should generally start with step 1. So first what we do in the step 1, we'll be entering the URL, enter URL or open browser to make it clear, open browser, enter URL, click on go. And what is that URL? You can write it here, www.gmail.com, right? So once we open a browser and enter URL and click on go, what we can expect according to the requirements given to me by the team, whenever I write a step description or whenever I perform URL and click on go, system should take you to the inbox. Sorry, system should take you to Gmail homepage where there is a possibility to write the username and password. Means system should navigate to login page. System should display login page. Next, come to step 2. Enter username or enter email and click on next. So what is that email? You can simply write it in this test data field. At gmail.com. So once we enter email and click on next, what happens generally, system should accept username or email. System should accept email and should display password field. Next, step 3. Enter password and click on sign in. So what is that password you want to enter? You can just simply type it here. Enter password, click on sign in. What happens if you enter the password and click on sign in? System should navigate to inbox, right? So this is how we write the test cases step by step. Just let me repeat it once again. This is what the unique ID followed by actually what is your agenda, and each step has been taken into step 1, step 2 and step 3. To perform the step description, some cases we need to use test data, and that is written in the test data column. And once we perform this activity, this is what we are expecting it. We don't know what happens really. Now, after a few days, the application is ready. Now you need to test it. Okay, let's test it. So what is the step 1? Open browser, enter URL and click on go. So I have opened the browser, guys. I have entered the URL and I have clicked on go. So I can see a Gmail sign in on the screen. Right, the same thing. System had displayed Gmail login page. Looks both are identical. So the step is pass. Next. Enter email and click on next. Whatever the step description says, you need to do it. Step description is saying me to enter the URL and just click on next. I'm going to do the same activity. Go to your Excel, sorry, go to your application and enter the URL and just click on next. I've entered the URL and clicked on next. So, okay, so enter the URL and just click on next. So enter the username, just click on next. Okay, and just click on next. What happened, guys? It has accepted the username and it is showing the password field. Write the same thing in the test case document. System had accepted email and had displayed password field. So earlier I said system should. Now I'm saying system had done it. So let me call it as system had displayed. System has accepted email and displayed password field. So both are identical even the step is passed. What is the step 3? Enter password and click on sign in. So you need to enter the password manually because it is a manual testing. You need to click on sign up and you need to check how the application is behaving. Means all the user actions you are doing manually. So enter the password and just click on sign and wait for the application response. Application is responding. Yes, it has taken you to inbox. Yes, we are in inbox successfully. System had navigated to inbox. So all the steps what we have expected, it is working according to your expectation. So all the steps has been passed. So test case is really pass, right? Test case 001 has been successfully executed. So whatever we given in the step description, that should be executed on the end application. Result will be written in the actual. After getting the result, compare expected and actual. According to its behavior, provide the status in the status field. This is what writing a simple test case. Okay. Now, generally before writing the test cases, we'll be writing the test scenarios. For the test scenarios, we'll be writing the test cases. Okay. Leave about that. First, we'll write the test cases. Then I will show you how to do the test scenarios also. But test case is a very important point. So let us start from here. Is it clear with this writing the test cases technique?
Actually, one doubt. How we can,
Okay, this is a very basic test case. We don't have any valid or invalid data in it. As we go in, we'll see how to handle the valid and how to handle the invalid data also. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, it's too early. Just I'm showing you the overview of test case template and how it works. To handle the valid and invalid data, we'll be seeing it. We need to write a separate test case data document. From there, we need to take the information. I will explain you that as we go in. No need to worry about that as of now. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So this is what the thing is. Now, let's go ahead and let's try to work on an example now. As Divya said, like how to handle if you have a multiple data. So first of all, how you will get multiple data? By using BV and ECP, we need to derive the test data and how to handle the test data, valid and invalid, right? So we'll see that. Before going to that, I have a document with me. It's a user registration document. Just have a look on the screen. User registration document. It has few fields in it. Username, first name, last name, password, retype password. We have the fields, right? And a sign up and a reset button we have in this field. And they have given some limitations to us. It is existing in abc.com website. Once we open abc.com website, you are going to get this. Okay. It's just an assumption. You don't get anything in the abc.com website. Just it's a simple assumption. Once you open a abc.com website, you are going to get this form. In this form, you need to fill the details and click on sign up. If you are going to fill all the details with the valid data, it should display a message saying that user successfully registered. When it will give this message, if all the data is valid and if you click on sign up, if user is successfully registered, it should show up this message, right? This is point one. Next, see here, these are all the edit boxes: username, first name, last name, password, and every edit box has some user limitations. In the sense, username should be alphanumeric 4 to 16 characters. First name should be 4 to 16 characters alphabet. Last name should be 4 to 16 alpha. Password should be 4 to 16 combination. And star marks fields are mandatory. These are the limitations what they have given. So what is your first activity? As discussed, you need to perform BV and ECP. And what we need to derive? Using BV and ECP, what we get, guys?
Test data.
Test data. So you are going to derive the test data for all these fields. For the username, for the first name, for the last name, password, retype password. For all these fields, you are going to derive the test data. So approximately for each field, we will be getting 4 valid data and 3 invalid data approximately, right? 4 valid data and 3 invalid data will be getting for each field. So in the class, I have derived it for username, but you people should derive it for the first name, last name and all the fields. Here I have just derived it for the username. You can see it here. BV and ECP combined it and I got the valid data for the username and invalid data for the username. Same like that. For the first name you need to derive, for the last name, for the password. All the fields, by taking up this conditions, you need to derive the data. right? Assume it, we have derived the data and we have kept it aside. We have derived it, guys. Happy. We have derived it for all the fields. The data is with us now. So what is the test scenario? Test scenario is user registration. User registration is a primary condition. That is a test scenario. Okay, so we have a functionality, generally hierarchy. Under functionality, we'll be having scenarios, and under scenarios, we'll be having a test cases. One functionality may have one or multiple test scenarios, and one test scenario may have one or multiple test cases. Test cases is a very, very important one. Okay, but this is the hierarchy. We'll discuss that. But let's start with the test cases. Now, how many test cases we can write for this test scenario called user registration? If you think user registration is a test scenario, how many test cases we can write for this application? How many? Just think. What are the possible test cases we can write? Just list it out. Yes, guys? How many test cases we can write for this? I need to test an application with valid data. The whole application I need to test with valid data. Give the valid data and check how it is behaving. So one test case for the valid. Next, any other test case? So test case 01 for valid. Assume it as if no. Test case 001 for valid. So what is the other test case? Any other test case? Even I need to check how the application is working if I give the invalid data. If I give any invalid data, it should throw an error message, right? So I need to test an application with invalid data also.
Yeah.
So assume it this is test case 002. Any other? Any other? Any other test cases, please? Just think. Reset is also a part of the application. How the reset works, whenever we enter the data and click on reset, it should reset the information. So we need to check the reset functionality too. This is the third test case, assume it, test case 003. Any other test cases, guys? Enough? Or do we have any other test cases? Just read the conditions. You'll get the information.
Mandatory fields.
Yes. So how to test the mandatory fields? How to check a specific field is really mandatory? On which basis you can say that that is mandatory?
Star mark one.
Yes. If it is a star mark, it is a mandatory field. Okay. But technically, how can I say that it is really a mandatory field? Giving a star mark doesn't mean that it is a mandatory field. Some cases developer may give the star mark, but he may not write the condition for it. Means whenever we leave it blank, whenever I leave a username blank and click on sign up, it should throw error message saying that Kiran first fill the username. Yes or no? If
Yes.
a star mark field or if a mandatory field is left empty and if you click on sign up, it should throw an error message. Means if I leave blank and everything is blank and if I click on sign up, it should throw a message saying that enter username, first name, password, retype password. Means to check the mandatory fields, we need to leave them and test it. Leaving the mandatory fields or testing the mandatory fields. Any other? Any other test cases?
No.
No? No, that's enough.
Mm.
Now let's go ahead and let's start writing the test cases. So 4 test cases we have. Test case 1, 2, 3, and 4 test cases. And we need to derive the data for each and every field. Assume it, we have already done it. Now let's begin things.